Hello, my name is Ilona, and first I want to mention an article from Gateway Pundit. US Department of Defense finally comes clean, admits in public document that there are 46 US military-funded biolabs in the Ukraine. That's very interesting. So they finally admitted that there are biolabs there from the USA. So we'll have to wait and see what will come out of that. But more and more things are coming out, and it's almost like everything is just speeding up. I've actually shared a message on my Telegram channel from someone mentioning that the most important thing we can do right now is ground ourselves, especially information that's going to come out. There's going to be a lot of disinformation. Right now, the energies are giving us so much codes and so much, how do you call it, there's energy energetically sent to us to prepare us for what's going to happen, to prepare our body, to prepare our DNA, to prepare ourselves. So that can be very overwhelming, but we also have to deal with all the information around us. And I'm talking about the information in the alternative media as well. So this message also mentioned to watch out for disinformation from all areas, all media, and to really ground yourself. And I agree with that. I believe that it's very important that we use discernment right now. Use what fits with us, what suits us, what feels right to us. Not follow any other people just like that. Really see information. Does this feel right to me? Does it resonate with me? Because that's how you ground yourself. You have to really use yourself as a base, like a baseline, and see if it fits or not, if it resonates or not. Because if it doesn't, you just have to leave it for what it is. Maybe you can look later on at it. Maybe later on you'll be able to process it, or maybe it's just not information that is resonating with you. You don't have to know everything. I certainly don't know everything, and that's fine with me. I'm kind of just learning, and I really love this process of reading all this new information and see if it fits with me or not, and if it resonates with me or not. That's so important. Keep an open mind, but you don't have to understand everything. The most important part is to ground yourself. So if you feel overwhelmed because of things you read or things you see, or information creates fear in you, ground yourself. Of course, deal with the fear if it comes up, but step away from that information, step away from that source of information if it doesn't feel right to you. It's very important that we make decisions now that really fit with our baseline, that really we need to use ourselves as the, how do you say this, as the baseline if something is correct or not follow people or things outside of ourselves. We need to step away from that. That's how we remain grounded. Treating our bodies with respect, treating our energies with respect. And if it doesn't feel right to read things or see things, just unplug yourself and just enjoy nature, or just do things that make you feel good and it feels right to you. That's the best way to ground yourself. So I also want to mention that. I've seen part of a video from Simon Parkes from the 11th, June the 11th. And I want to mention before, if I talk about someone, always see if it resonates with you, if the message resonates with you or not. Otherwise, you can just leave it for what it is. I found it quite interesting. He mentioned that Mr. B invited the military to step in. Not sure why exactly, maybe if something gets out of hand, or something with blackouts, maybe coming blackouts, or some kind of vague excuse, but he has invited the military that if the National Guard will not be able to handle certain situations, they are now officially, they can now step in. So that's interesting. He also mentioned something about months. I'm not really sure where he got that from. Maybe it's from the 17th letter of the alphabet. I'm not certain of that, but he mentioned that this kind of lines up with that. So he kind of just mentioned it. But I found it very interesting. June is military. Well, obviously if Mr. B has invited the military is in June. Although we have to wait and see what's going to happen with that. So June, military. July, revelation, seeing truth. August would be vindication and retribution. And September would be rebuilding. Well, I truly hope so, although we have to wait and see how things will unfold. That's just, we are on the positive timeline. I truly believe that. But how things will work out, we have to wait and see and trust. That's why it's so important to ground yourself so you can really take everything in and see if it resonates or not, and just kind of just follow your own line, your own path, because that's the most important thing we can do right now. And start, of course, manifesting what we truly want by focusing on what's important to us. He also mentioned something about, I think there was a question about governments, that certain governments will remain after everything apparently will be fall apart. I'm sure things will change politically, but what I've talked about in another video, that we will be voting for policies instead of people or parties. But some certain governments that will follow the white hats and their guidelines will remain. Of course, a lot of them will disappear, or, well, they'll be gone, all those puppets. And he also mentioned some people were very afraid because of all the prices, that if everything has happened and kind of settled, that prices can change very quickly within 3 months, like gas prices, and of course for food, they can change rapidly if everything changes. So people should not be too worried about that, although I understand that there are people in very tough situations right now financially because of everything that's going on. He also mentioned the media, which I find very interesting, that the media are still used by the dark hats and the white hats. So we have these bit confusing things going on. And I just want to take a look with my cards, what is going on with the media. He mentioned that some of the media, I kind of are following along because there are a lot of people who are just sleeping and not aware. And so they are following along, like with Russia and the Ukraine, that Mr. P from Russia is obviously a bad person. If they would suddenly mention that he actually is a good person, actually cleaning up biolabs there, then a lot of people won't be able to understand that. Although I'm like, well, things are going to fall apart anyway, but I do understand, more like an intuitive feeling, that things still have to work out. There are still some things that need to be put into place, maybe even for the scare event. Of course, if you're already telling that Mr. P is not a threat, you cannot use like this Third World War threat, because then people will already understand that that's not going to happen. So I have a feeling things are still going into a certain direction, and that it's necessary. So we're just going to see where the media is at right now, and I'm talking globally. Let's see. We have the Magician, that's the card above. We have Temperance as the central card. We have the Empress in the past. That's interesting. We have the High Priest underneath the central card. And we have the Knight of Cups for the future and the Hanged Man. Well, this is something because of the 6 cards. I've got 5 major arcana cards. So this is very important. And let's face it, really the battle is still going on in the media. And it's balancing out right now. There's a balance. And this is interesting. So we have the Magician. This is about showing people that they have their own, the control to manifest what they want. I feel like this is the card of new information coming in, the truth coming in, and then we have the dark energies still trying to maintain some of their power, still try to roll out the agendas, and there's this balance in between. This is the central card, so it's being balanced right now, which I find very interesting. And things are still being manipulated, because that's what the Magician is about as well. And obviously the High Priest with the dark energies, they're all about manipulating. But it's manipulated by both sides. So the white hats are manipulating things and the black hats are manipulating things. It's very interesting. So they kind of meet somewhere in the middle. But I do believe it is being balanced out. So there's more and more balance coming, which means that more and more truth will come out. But right now, for the near future, we have the Knight of Cups. Things will be presented. So I do think more and more truths will come out, more things will be presented to the people. Maybe even some of the dark agendas will be used by the white hats. So things will come out, but it will seem for a while like there is just not much going on and really about maintaining the status quo. So I don't think suddenly it will change in the coming weeks, but things will come out, but it will still feel like it's still in some kind of standstill, like in this balance mode. Like there's dark energies, agendas rolled out, and there's white hats truth coming out. So it's kind of a mix. So there's a lot happening. Like I said, the major arcana cards are very important. This is a very important process, because truly, if the media falls, I think pretty much everything falls. So there is still a lot going on there, but I do believe, especially because this is the card above, that the white hats are taking more and more control, but it's still in a certain balance. Like I mentioned, there's still a lot of influences from the black hats going on. So it can seem like everything is just standing still, not much is going on, but things are moving in a way. I think it's also necessary, like I've mentioned, that something needs to happen. So they still need also these dark energies in the media to really wake up the people that are still fast asleep. Obviously, not everyone will wake up, but at least there will be an opportunity for a lot of people to wake up. So I find that very interesting. I also want to take a look at the global energy right now. What is globally going on right now? The energy. Let's see. We have the Five of Pentacles, that's the card above. We have the Four of Cups, that's the central card. We have the Knight of Pentacles in the past. We have the Six of Pentacles underneath the central card. And we have the Tower for the future and the Emperor. So right now, there are a lot of people feeling left out in the cold. There's a lot of economical stress, financial problems. Probably a lot of things are just not, a lot of damage from the wasp sting, if I'm not mistaken. Even Justin Bieber has, to me, that seems like effects from the wasp sting. So things are, for a lot of people, they are in a very tough position. Like I said, there's a lot of financial troubles going on. People cannot make ends meet. There's a lot of things going on that's very, very left in the cold. A lot of people are really very angry with their governments, feeling left out in the cold. They're very dissatisfied, because this is really the card about being dissatisfied. They've had enough. They're fed up with everything that is going on. I do feel it's very important for people to wake up, to really finally be fed up with it, to understand something's not right. I do believe more and more people are waking up and very fast, like they suddenly realize something's very wrong. This is about balance. There's a balance going on, but that's still on the background for people, of course, to connect also with their intuition, with God, because that's very important, to connect with their power, their own power. But right now, a lot of people feel very powerless, very out in the cold. Like I said, there's so much going on financially. And what do we see for the future? The Tower, things completely collapsing, and the Emperor. That feels to me like military. So of course, again, I don't know when it's going to happen. It can still take some time. It could happen any day, especially with the military. So we'll just have to wait and see what's going to happen. But things are completely collapsing, and I do believe the white hats are behind that, making sure that all these systems are completely gone. And of course, then we'll have to rebuild, but we'll be rebuilding with a completely new foundation, because the old foundation has to go. It has to stop that way. All these sick systems, medical systems, political systems, educational systems, all these systems will have to go. They have to be changed. They have to be completely rebuilt from the ground. So all these dark energies will go, will have to leave. It's like a cleanup. They're really cleaning everything. So that's what I'm seeing right now. And I want to leave it at this, and I hope to see you in another video. Bye.